Hello, everyone. As I'm recording this, Game 1 of the World Series just began between the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. Yes, I was supposed to record this earlier. Yes, I did fall asleep. And yes, this is coming out late. So anyway, obviously the title of this video is There's a Trend with the NHL and the MLB, NBA. We'll continue with the MLB. What is this trend? Why do I have a bunch of teams here? And can this trend really continue with the MLB? We'll see soon enough. What's the trend? Well, in the finals of all the series sports, which in the main sports is the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB, that I know for certain, it's the main big three. The NFL does not count here because it does not play series. It only plays one games. It's a one-game out playoffs. But in every series sport, there has been one team that has played pretty well in the finals, but in the conference championship, they are not expected to make the finals. You know, it can be a first seed, a second seed, a third seed, a fourth seed, or a fifth seed, or even maybe a sixth seed. But if you play pretty well in the playoffs, but you're never expected to make the finals, then you fit into this category. Another team, a complete underdog. Basically, this team barely snuck into the playoffs at like a 7th or an 8th seed, depending on what game you play. And they just dominate the whole time. Not necessarily, finishing out the conference championship as, a clear win, but they dominate nearly the whole time over everyone. In both the NBA and the MLB, the first team beat the underdog in 5 games. Now, let's see the individual finals for both the NBA and the NHL. Now, this is going to be like a trip down memory lane, as we'll be going back in time to when both these finals were played. The NBA. We have the Nuggets and the Heat making the finals. The Nuggets being the 1 seed and the Heat being the lucky 8 seed. The Nuggets, they won the Western Conference Championship with a record of 53-29. But they weren't seen as the clear-cut, make-the-finals kind of team. A lot of people were thinking the Suns. Some people were thinking the Lakers, who they played in the Conference Championship Finals. Yeah. The Lakers only had a record of 43-39, but they were expected to make it. And then the Nuggets come out there and sweep them in 4 games, winning 4-0. For the Heat, they were a measly 8 seed, who barely snuck in through the play-ins with a record of 44-38. They blew past the number 1 seeded Bucks. Yes, Giannis was injured game 1. Yes, he did come back. And they also blew past the Knicks. It looked like they were going to sweep the Celtics, but all of a sudden, they came back 3 games. But luckily for the Heat, they won Game 7 to go to the finals. Now, at the finals, it didn't really seem like the Nuggets had any chance of losing or the Heat had any chance of winning. Almost every game was decided by extra point, 10 points or more, except for the last one and the one the Heat won. Yeah, the Heat had no chance of winning. They did win Game 2, but they were getting destroyed in the whole finals. So, now that we've seen the NBA, let's see the similarities with the NHL to the NBA. Well, in the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers made it to the Stanley Cup, which is the NHL's finals. The Knights barely won their Western Conference with a record of 51-22. The Avalanche were seen as, the Avalanche were really close, but people thought that maybe it could be the Avalanche who were defending the title, and or the Oilers to make it to the finals, and not really the Golden Knights. But the Golden Knights team was completely dominant. They blew past nearly everyone they played. I think their biggest deficit was like 2 games. They won like either 42 to 4-1. They never did sweep anyone, though. But they blew past everyone to make the finals, and that's where they won. The Panthers were the final wild card team to make it to the playoffs with a record of 42 to 30. They barely won 1 game at the end of the season, and that led them to making the playoffs. But in the playoffs, you think they'd look like a 1st seed or an 8th seed. Not an 8th seed, I mean it's a 2nd seed. It looked like they'd be easy outs against the Bruins, which they went down 3-1 in. But a 3-game comeback led the Panthers to take the series. They blew by the Leafs, who were being extra cocky, and they blew by the Hurricanes in a sweep 4-0. In the finals, other than Game 3, which the Panthers won 3-2 in the overtime, every other game was a blowout. One time, the Knights even scored 9. I'm not sure if they scored 11. I think that might be a different sport that I'm confusing them with. But the Vegas Golden Knights were completely dominant in their first Stanley Cup win in their franchise history, winning 4-1. Now, what does this mean? Both in the NHL and the NBA, a 1 seed and a last seed, either an 8th seed or a 7th seed, technically a 7th seed. I know they're called wild card teams in the MLB, the NHL. But with the 1st seed, they won 5 games in the finals to take the series. This shows a trend between the NBA and the NHL, and the MLB kind of has, a way it can follow this. It's not up to par, like perfect, but it can technically follow this trend. Now, there are some differences between the 2 sports and how they did reach the finals and how they won the finals, but they're very similar to each other. So let's go look at what the MLB's done and see what they could do to possibly fit in with this trend that the NBA and the NHL have. Well, the MLB. The Texas Rangers could have been the 2nd seed. Damn. 1 second. Forget everything that happened there. Technical difficulties. The Texas Rangers, they could have been the 2nd seed in the MLB playoff or the postseason, but a last game choke made the Rangers lose the East or West. I'm not sure. Or was it the North? Or was it the South? I'm not too akin to baseball, I'm sorry. But they could have been the 2nd seed over the Astros, but unfortunately, the last season choke, of course, against the Mariners, another one of their division opponents, knocked them down to the 5th seed. They played a 99-win Rays, which the Rangers had 90 wins, and the 101-win Orioles, sweeping them both, completely dominating them. And it looked like they were going to do it again and sweep the Astros in the finals, the AL Finals. But with a win 3-0 record after the 2 wins that the Rangers got, it looked like the Astros were going to win when the Rangers were down 3-2. But the Rangers would then go on to win two in a row at the Rangers' home, by the way, to win the AL pennant. While the Diamondbacks, they were the last team in the playoffs, at least for the NL. They barely made the playoffs as a 6th seed with 84 wins, but it looked like they were one of the top teams in the playoffs. They swept the 92-win Brewers, and they swept the 100-win Dodgers. Unfortunately for them, of course, it looked like their run was about to come to the end by the Phillies when they came down 0-2. Especially that one game when they got put up 10 on them. Or was it 11? 1-2. But that was just 2 horrible stretches for them. But then they won 2 in a row. But they also dropped 3 in a row, like the Texas Rangers. But fortunately for them, they pulled up 2 in a row to win and get the NL pennant. Now, how can this trend continue? If the Rangers win the series in 5 games, it would technically complete the trend. Now, while the Rangers aren't a first seed, they are a pretty good playoff. They've been a great playoff team that played well, but were not expected to make the finals. Even though they were not the first seed, it was still expected that the Astros were going to beat them easily. And, of course, the D-backs, they fit the narrative perfectly. Sneaking into the playoffs and dominating. Now, by November 1st is the 5th game in the series between the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. First game just started. It should be on the 2nd or 3rd inning. I have not seen the score. I don't know who's winning. And by the time this is uploaded, it could be on the 3rd or 4th inning. So on November 1st, 2023, we will see if my prediction is correct and if the trend continues. Because I've got Rangers in 5. Now, a little fun fact in the video. Both teams 2 years ago had 100 losses. I think the Rangers had like 111 and the Diamondbacks had like 104. You can flip those around. I'm not too sure on that, but it's a pretty good fact. But anyways, even with this being late, I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. If you watch this today on the 27th, or a wonderful day if you watch this on the 28th, of course. You'd obviously know which team wins. But I hope to see you next time, and peace.